what you said about like friends and stuff, I used to feel like really inadequate, and I still struggle with that sometimes. Like, me a part of friend groups? Am I like valuable in the friendship, or am I annoying, or like stuff like that? And I used to realize, well, I used to think before, I used to really get social anxiety, like being in a room and, you know, when it's a huge group of friends, I will only be able to talk to people like one-on-one. And I still like struggle with that sometimes. Like, you feel like you can't be the loudest in the room because you just, I don't know, it's just a feeling of like, dang, like, am I really, or what you said, am what I'm saying worth speaking or saying? Or
people gonna care, people gonna like, listen to me.
Yeah, and then even like with the whole like doing YouTube, it was like, I don't know, I started to get social anxiety when people would come up to me and ask me to do this, and then I would feel awkward because I want to show up in one way, but I'm so shy that like I just ball up and like to a shell, and I don't show who I am.
And then I'm so upset because I'm like, I have this amazing personality, but I don't know how to show it.
So it used to really like bother me, like with the YouTube, and people would come up to me and be like, oh, do this, do that, or like try to talk to me, and I'll be like, dang, they probably thinking like, this boy weird. Like off camera, they like, he's weird, he don't speak, he don't you know, show who he is. And I'm only able to show that around people I'm comfortable with, but now I'm getting to a point where I can do that, you know, around everybody. Even like as far as like dancing, all of that stuff, like I used to really be shy and just ball up and like just sit in the corner and not do anything.
I think that for many years, I just have gotten so caught up in the fact that I have to try to be perfect or present myself as perfect, and feeling like I'm stuck in presenting myself as perfect. And then God was like, 'cause you're not. And it just like, I don't know, I just had this whole like the glass shattered type of moment, and just realizing like, you're flawed, but that's okay because everybody is flawed. But I'll say, I guess that too was a thing. It's just like feeling like you have to present yourself as perfect, even if everything is going terrible behind the scenes. Everyone has to think like you're a good person. Everyone has to think highly of you, even though like you got issues. But it's like, that's how I was like raised, you know? And so I am now at a place where I'm like accepting like who I am, like the good and the bad. So
yeah, for sure.
In 6 months you're gonna arrive, but the question is where. And I love that quote because that's so true. It's like at the end of this year you're gonna arrive, but did you make the decisions you were supposed to make to arrive at where you want to? If not, you're just going to arrive where, like you said, life is going to take you. And also, something I'm realizing as we're all talking about different lessons we've learned is that, like, you could tell what blessing God is trying to give you based off what area you're getting tested in.
That part,
so
that
for
is
me,
how a good feeling, man.
the situation I'm not trying to talk about, it's like, okay, I'm facing this over and over again, but it's like you have to pass the test before you arrive there, because if you don't pass the test, then this same situation is only going to be in that new thing God wants to take you in. For me, like we were all talking about finances, you can tell God is trying to bless you financially if you keep dealing with financial problems, because he can't trust you with the small. We all know this. You can't be trusted with the more. So you could tell where, like the Israelites, this is a perfect example. I know I already say that, but this specific thing, based off what I'm saying, they were getting tested in an environment of being in the wilderness. And what was God trying to bless them with? A new environment.
Yes.
You know?
That's so good.
I think this season is honestly the season of me going, the boundaries has to be about me and not so much the person. And in my last season, it was like the person, like setting the boundaries on the person. But then it's like, no, it has to be about me because I love people. Like I love people. And so for me, I had to learn that the loving people turned into people pleasing. And then when it got to people pleasing, it turned into pain. And then it's like, it was a blurred line to set boundaries because I'm doing this like naturally. And the other person, you know, somebody who takes advantage of people, they're not going to stop. They're not just going to be like, oh, I'm not going to not take advantage of her. No, they're going to keep going. And so it's like I would go to the point of pain. And that's when I started saying, well, I'm gonna put a boundary on this person. But then now it's just messing up relationships and friendships. So then it went to, this has to be about me. And I think that's the season I'm in. So I would definitely say, yeah.
One thing my mom always taught me is, if y'all go together, y'all leave together as well. No matter what the situation is, if y'all done got in an argument or whatever, if you my friend, you my dog, and we get in an argument or something, we still got to leave together. I know I done seen a lot of traumatic friendships on TikTok where, especially the girls be bugging. I feel like us guys, we could pull it together. But the girls, especially when they go to Miami, y'all get a little link up, and y'all all of a sudden leaving at different times when y'all supposed to be all going to back to the hotel together.
Thursday at 6 p.m.
Right. Now you leaving Wednesday at 2 a.m. You feel me? You should have been left. You should have left when everybody else leave. You don't leave before the next person leave. You feel me?
As you go through life, you're going to have so many people that try and tell you, oh, you should be doing this, you should be doing that. So many people will have an opinion on what you should be doing with your life. And you have to know, like, okay, what is true to me? Like, what is true to Jada? What is true to Yanni? What is true to Trey? Like, you have to think in that way. And you have to be strong enough to, just thought about something. Okay. You have to be strong enough to really like stand firm on what you believe and who you are. I have gotten myself into situations like commitments that could have honestly went like so bad. Or let's just say like it cost me a lot of money. Let's say that. Like it just could have like caused so many problems, because I'm listening to everybody's voice around me. And I honestly had to work on that. I remember my life had got to a point to where if a lot of people in my life were telling me to do something, but even though I felt in my heart it was not what I was supposed to do, a lot of people in my life were telling me to do something, I was like, well, I guess they're right. So let me do it. And I end up doing something that I didn't even really want. So now I'm no longer living my life for Jada. I'm living my life for other people. And so I think that it's important to silence out just all voices, silence out all distractions. And not saying that you shouldn't have like mentors or just pastors or things that you listen to. But I think that there is a feeling that you get when you are doing what you were supposed to do. And it kind of goes back to how I talked to y'all about how we have good ideas and we have God ideas. And a good idea, like for example, a good idea for me was, oh, you should create a course. Like it's a good way to make money. My God idea, which was something that I felt that God wanted me to do, was to release those pants. And so it's easy to listen to like, oh, well, this is a good idea for me to do. This is a good idea. This is a good idea for me to do. But you have to focus on the God ideas, the things that God wants you to do. So yeah, definitely think silencing out all distractions and all people, and just focusing on God is important for real.
That's very real. I really like the idea of pacing yourself, because I have a habit of feeling like I need to reach all my goals now. Like I'm the type to like set really big goals and say this needs to be done now. Instead of having like, it's good to set big goals, it's great, but then also you have to have some type of like reality in that goal, and like you said, pace it. And so I'm like, after like while we're talking, I'm realizing like, okay, one, I'm glad I did it subconsciously, because for my job, my Walk Wisely with God shirts, I have a plan on adding more colors this year in shirts, and also I have a plan on dropping the hoodies. Typically, when I drop, it's more so of the month prior, I'm figuring out what do I want to drop, and then, okay, just work on it, but let's just drop. Yeah. But this month, I have an actual plan on staying on the design one, and then what's the plan on growing it so it gets on more people, so I can grow in the inventory, grow in revenue, and also grow in add a different, it's the same style, but add a hoodie. So you give people more options, different colors, and then dropping hoodies. And so I realized that I paced myself because in my plan, I put in a certain amount of months, okay, bet, add colors. Cause I don't want to say the months because I don't want to put my goals out there.
Right.
But I know that I said, okay, in a certain amount of months, I'm gonna add colors. And after that, certain amount of months, add colors, certain amount of months, add colors. Okay, is this quarter? Bet. Now let's add hoodies. Now let's add different. Like now I have an actual plan instead of just being unorganized. Like pacing yourself for me is basically staying organized with your goals.
Yeah, for sure.
And eating it piece by piece by piece so that you can eat the whole cake. Because me, I'll set the goal and not be able to eat the cake during the time, the goal I set, and then just be like, forget it. And try to move on to something else. But now I'm like, okay, you can have the cake, but set goals so that you can eat the whole thing instead of just trying to eat the whole cake now.
Yeah,
you know?
for sure.
When I go to the gym, I got 2 phones, right? Shout out Kevin Gates. But I literally got 2 phones. Like for real. Like one is like strictly business. And when I go to the gym, that's the phone I bring with me. That is a way of me setting a boundary because the time that I need to pour into myself, I don't want nobody pulling from me. Now, if it's, speaking opportunity, we can talk turkey. But like this ain't the time to just, because people are going to pull on you constantly. So for me, I had to be intentional to carve out that time and leave my actual phone at home. Like I'm like, if it's an emergency, I'm not married, I have no kids. So I shouldn't be nobody's first call in the first place. Let's just keep it a buck. You know what I'm saying?
That part.
Yeah, let's keep it a buck. So that's the first thing I do. And then for me, like I don't know, I'm not a confrontational person, but I'm just surrounding myself with people that understand where I'm coming from. You know what I'm saying? So I have no problem if I got to do something with y'all. Like me and Trey, we go boxing. But if we can't do it one week, or like if we overload it, bro, I can't make it. All right, cool. Like it's
there's
no
like thought of like there's like a sense of like relief. My fault.
Yeah.
I was like, there's like a sense of like relief when we're able to just say it because I know for me, like with old friends, I would be like, dang, I can't cancel on them because I know it's going to be some passive aggression once I say no. And then also what you said about like confrontation, I just realized that confrontation does not equal communication. And like you have to communicate, and that doesn't mean that you're being confrontational. That just means that you're over communicating and making it clear what the standard is in this current circumstance. And it's not avoiding the thing or avoiding a conversation that needs to be had. It's addressing it right there and there, then and there, so that way everybody is clear about what's going on.
Because 9 times out of 10, the conflict that you worried about, it don't even be that bad.
Right.
So if I was on some trying to people please, trying to show up every day for Trey, I wouldn't even be able to show up as my best self on Saturdays because I'm tired in my body versus being like, hey, bro, I can't eat. Oh, cool. And because we had that conversation and we want the best for each other, it's like an understanding versus like, I'm huge on like no passive aggressive. So I communicate in this season. Like I said, I got my boundaries on when people can reach me, stuff like that. And then voice notes. That's something else I do because I don't really text. So I'm quick to send a voice note to save my mental bandwidth. For
as long as it's under 30 seconds. It's like,
I don't need to be sending a podcast.
This man sent me a 56-second voice note. And I was like, okay, I'm going to try it out. He must be driving. Then he did it again. And I was like, this is thing.
I do it again.
Once you like make up in your mind like your self-image, like this is how I view myself, you are going to go and look for other outside resources that validate that. So you're going to look for relationships, friendships, standard of living that all validates this is how I view myself. And so when I had the worst like self-image, that's exactly what I did. Like I lived in a way that was like below like terrible standards. The type of like situationships I would entertain. I felt like I had to go chase a guy. Like I felt like because I was not worthy enough to have somebody who just wanted me, I felt like, oh, I have to go chase after a guy, or just different things like that. And so if you have a low self-image, you really have to become aware of that and work on it, because everything you have in your life right now is equal to how you view yourself. And so that's why you may see like people who are more successful typically have some more confidence.
Yeah.
They typically have a higher self-image, or some people may be like, oh, you seem arrogant, or you think you're the stuff or whatever. But it's like, no, you actually have to have a much higher view of yourself. And I have a bad habit of like being, I think the word is like bashful, when it's like someone tries to compliment you and it's like, oh no, like,
yo, for
I'm
real.
not that, or oh, your business is so great, and it's like, oh, I'm trying, like, you know,
it's like, just accept the compliment.
Exactly. And it's just like, how you view yourself, that is what you will have forever and ever and ever. So you need to view yourself as higher in order for you to have more.
I feel as though I've been in a season of transitioning, of constant transition, of twists and turns of who I'm becoming, what I have to cut off, all the dead weight, all of the things that I've prolonged for so long in business and my personal, and just realizing who I have to evolve into to continue to grow. And I constantly have to remember that I can't belittle like where I am or the growth that I made, the progress that I made. So it's been a lot of stuff where I just realized like that I have to be able to be willing to let things go, even if they've been a part of my life for a long period of time. Like, be willing to let go of those things that no longer serve me in this season, let go of the people that no longer serve me in this season, let go of opportunities that no longer serve me in the season that I'm in. So with that right now, it's just made me have to go into a place where I'm uncomfortable. And I feel as though when you're uncomfortable, that's where you grow the most. Because when you're comfortable, you already know what to expect. You know what to do next. You know who's going to be around and stuff like that. But when you're in that uncomfortable season, you don't know what to expect. And it's kind of scary because you're saying to yourself, or you're asking God, like, show me the way, order my steps, you know, give me the discernment in order to know where I should be in this moment. And so that's where I'm at. Just a constant place of transition and continuing to be in an uncomfortable phase of my life. So that's where I'm at.
As I read this, I want you guys to think of that relationship where you feel like you're getting manipulated, and ask yourselves if they have these fruits of the Spirit. So it says, love is patient, love is kind, it does not envy, it does not boast, it is not proud, it does not dishonor others, it is not self-seeking, it is not easily angered, it keeps no record of wrongs, love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with the truth. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always preserves. Love never fails. So if you feel like that relationship you're in, if you feel like that person is always prideful in that relationship, that is not love. If you feel like you're in a relationship with somebody and they are always getting easily triggered by everything you do, that is not love. If you feel like you're in a relationship with somebody and all they do is take, they're a mosquito to your life, that
sucking all the blood out.
That is self-seeking. That is not love. Yeah. So go through this Bible verse and really like meditate on it, because you do not have to keep yourself in a relationship where you feel like a relationship, whatever it is, where you feel like you're getting manipulated. Because 9 times out of 10, when somebody is in a relationship or friendship, I guess family would be kind of different because that's your blood. But in a relationship or friendship where they feel like they're getting manipulated, 9 times out of 10 is feel like they can't get somebody better, or they can't get another friendship, or they don't want to rebuild. But God will replace it. God will replace it. God is not calling you to stay in a dry place where you're getting everything sucked out of you. Like, God is calling you. God will call you higher. So, be willing to drop this relationship where they're taking from you. Really, all it's doing is taking from you. Like, if you feel like you're in this relationship and you're just like, oh, well, they do this and they're a good person. Okay, well, it's not beneficial to you. Like, it's an unequally yoked relationship or friendship. And you have to think long-term with your friendships. You have to think long-term. Is this person you're with, this friendship you're with? Because everything that they have is going to rub off on you. So, yeah, just meditate on that and free yourself from these manipulative relationships, because we not getting no nothing sucked out of us in 2024 and moving forward.
Part.
So
couldn't have ended it better myself.
God did.
Like
For
that.
shonies.
Everything she said, 100% agree. When it comes to being afraid to be yourself, the root of that is you care too much about what other people think. Because what are you afraid of? Well, clearly you're afraid of what other people's response will be to you showing up authentically as yourself. So I feel like you want to get to the root of that and figure out, why do I care so much about what people think? And you also want to start by minimizing that in your mind, like minimizing whatever the answer is to that question. Like whatever the answer is to why do I care so much about what people think, you want to minimize that answer. And so really understanding, okay, these are people just like me. They bleed how I bleed. They go to the restroom like how I go to the restroom. They got bills like how I got bills. Like it's nothing different between this person and myself. So why do I care so much about what someone else has to say about me or what someone else thinks about me, you know? And so I think that it's very important, if you're trying to figure out how do I stop being afraid of being myself, you first want to figure out what's the root of this. Why do I care so much about what other people think? Yeah. You want to understand that also understand that nothing's going to happen if you show up as yourself. Literally nothing. What are they going to do? If they laugh at you for you being yourself, okay, and those are just not your people. And you will have a very depressing, very sad life if you go your whole life being someone that you are not to please these people, when you could go around through life being your authentic self and then have a whole group of people that show up and love you for being you. And also, this more so has to do with just like business and success and stuff, but you won't honestly have like true success in your life until you show up as your authentic self. I feel like you could be successful and be a fake version of yourself, but you are going to be unhappy, right? Yeah. But you could have true success that you actually enjoy when you get to show up every day as you. So I would say get to the root of it. And also, like, start loving yourself. Like, get to the root of why you're doing this and start loving who you actually are.